On the eve of the wedding, Vincent's first love Celine posted a photo of a sapphire diamond ring. I looked at the picture. It was the wedding ring he and I had made, one and only in the world, designed by my own hands. And now it was on her hand. I thought about it all night, and the next day I calmly asked for a breakup. Vincent said expressionlessly, "Yvonne, we're about to get married. Think it through, don't have any regrets." "I won't regret it." Later, Vincent called me in the middle of the night, drunk. "Yvonne, where are you? I can't find you at home." After seeing Celine's post, I broke up with Vincent. He looked taken aback. "Break up? Our wedding is in 2 weeks, the invitations are already out, and you're telling me this now?" I didn't answer him. I took the prepared list of items from my bag, unfolded it, and laid it in front of him. "Yes, break up. I won't take anything from you. I just want to be apart." At 24, I got engaged to the 27-year-old Vincent, and soon after moved out to live with him. I always thought our marriage was a done deal, so during the 2 years we lived together I accepted the bags and jewelry he gave me, the shares and the property. Now that we're separating, those things should be tallied up. Vincent flipped through it casually, then set it aside without changing expression. "Because of the reason?" He paused, then added, "Because Celine wore your ring?" "I'm sorry, I didn't know it was a wedding ring. I've already asked my assistant to retrieve it, it will be returned to you soon." He still looked calm, but I couldn't contain my fury. I had spent 6 months making the wedding ring myself, it represented my effort and my longing for love. After I finished it, I couldn't bear to wear it, I kept it in the home safe, planning to bring it out for the wedding. Yet I had only been away for half a month when Vincent suddenly gave the ring to Celine. Heaven knows how shattered I was to see the ring on Celine's hand. And now he casually says he doesn't know. Does he really not know? Can a single "I don't know" erase all his wrongs? I shouted angrily, "Enough. This time it's a wedding ring, just once. Do you want me to give up the position of wife for her? If that's the case, wouldn't it be better for me to be sensible and step aside to make room?" Hearing this, he looked up at me with displeasure, as if he couldn't understand why I was overreacting so much. He began to lecture. "Yvonne, if this is all just jealousy and pettiness, there's absolutely no need. You should know, in our marriage, interests outweigh love, no one can shake your position as my wife. This once I'll forgive you. Don't bring up splitting up again, just behave and be my wife." He took out a card and pushed it over. "There's 5 million on this, consider it compensation." I looked at the card coldly, a bit dazed. Vincent was all business. Even our marriage, to him, was about profit above all. At first, when we were together, he was always distant and aloof with me. Later, after we got to know each other, he began making demands, this and that, trying to groom me into the image of a wealthy wife. He forgot that a wealthy wife only needs to be noble and graceful, but as his future spouse, I love him. So I couldn't be as cold as he was, and I couldn't accept the idea of a third person appearing in our marriage. Besides, Celine was the first love Vincent had longed for in his youth but never had. Tears hit the back of my hand, I snapped back to myself and wiped them away. I pushed the card back and said with a smile, "No need, Mr. Vincent. We're not right for each other, it's better we part." No one could refuse Vincent again and again, he was a titan of finance, idolized and proud. When I asked to separate once more, Vincent didn't hesitate. "All right, don't regret it. What's given away is like water thrown out. I, Vincent, am not short that bit of money." I took back the itemized list and, while I was at it, held the card in my hand. "All right, no regrets. I've called a moving company, it might get a bit noisy later, sorry for the disturbance." Vincent lit a cigarette, his expression indifferent. "It's fine." When I finished speaking, I turned and left. I called the moving company and had them come in. "Take every feminine item out of the house." In the bedroom, I put all the jewelry into the safe, then carefully warned them. "Please be careful, there are fragile items in the cabinet." 3 hours later, the villa suddenly felt empty. I glanced back at the place I'd lived for 3 years, and in the corner of my eye I noticed Vincent leaning against the door, head down, his expression unreadable. I had no intention of saying goodbye to him. As I turned to leave, I saw Celine arrive. She came toward me with tear-filled eyes, grabbed my hand, and said in a syrupy tone, "Miss Yvonne, I'm sorry. I didn't know this ring meant so much to you. I only thought it was pretty, so I asked Vincent for it. At the time I thought you had so many rings, and I had nothing. I figured you wouldn't mind. Don't be mad, I'll give it back to you right now." When she finished speaking, she reached to pull the ring off her finger, but after tugging for a long time she couldn't get it off and had only reddened her hand. I laughed in anger. This wasn't an apology at all, it was obvious provocation. If she were truly sorry, why would she have swaggered in wearing my wedding ring? Now she was putting on a show, probably to attract someone's attention. Sure enough, the next second Vincent came over. He pulled Celine's hand toward him, looking pained. "If you can't get it off, then don't. Don't hurt your hand. How about this, Yvonne, I'll pay 3 million to buy it." At those words, Celine looked at Vincent with a face full of emotion, her eyes soft and tender. I stood before them, watching their affectionate display, and suddenly my eyes burned red with anger. "I'm not selling it. I designed this wedding ring myself, take it off now." Vincent frowned in displeasure. Celine linked her arm through his, wearing an understanding look. "Vincent, this was originally Miss Yvonne's, I should return it." Then she went to the bathroom, wet her hands with hand soap, took the ring off and handed it to me. I reached out to take it, but the moment I saw the ring I was burning with rage. "You resized the ring?" She edged fearfully behind Vincent. "It was a bit big on me, so I altered it." I'm sorry, I'll find the designer and have it changed back right away." I could no longer hold back my fury and raised my hand, slapping her. "You made it smaller, how can you possibly change it back? Celine, you really make me sick." "Yvonne!" Vincent roared, standing in front of Celine and holding her firmly behind him. "Don't go too far. The ring was a gift from me to her, why blame her instead of me?" I looked at him coldly, having forgotten the real culprit, and raised my hand to slap him. Vincent's face darkened in an instant. "Do you think I'm not disgusted with you? You and Celine make me sick in the same way. Get out, don't ever show up in front of me again." Having said that, I strode away with the moving company, paying no heed at all to the looks on the two of their faces. After we moved into the new house, my best friend Summer came over to help me unpack. The moment I saw her, I couldn't hold back my hurt any longer. I grabbed her and sobbed my heart out. "Summer, I made that ring for half a year, and that bitch wore it." She cursed under her breath as she patted my back to comfort me. There, it's okay. How about I make you a ring and give it to you?" After crying for a long time, I slowly stopped. The new apartment was a mess. I wiped away my tears and began to pack my things. The safe was a mess too, the jewelry had all collided together, and at a glance I saw the engagement gift Vincent had given me, shattered into pieces. It had been a tall, pale green jade bangle, very translucent and bright, now broken into several fragments. Just like our fractured relationship. Vincent and I were brought together entirely by Vincent's mother. My mom and Aunt Eleanor were college best friends. When I was little, my mom always took me to play with Aunt Eleanor. Aunt Eleanor was immediately pleased to see me. She jokingly and cheerfully said I should be her daughter-in-law, and she had Vincent take me along to play. My family wasn't as well off as the Shin family, so my mom wanted me to spend more time with Vincent and try to cheer him up. But Vincent was distant and cold. Most of the time the two of us stayed quietly in a room, each doing our own thing. Still, as a child, I liked that handsome, aloof older boy. I had thought he would always be like that, cold toward everyone. Until the year he turned 17, when he met Celine. The two of them had a passionate, all-consuming romance at school. It's hard to imagine that Vincent, a scion raised carefully in a wealthy family, would actually fight and skip school for Celine. Uncle Richard, trying to force him to break up, threatened to send him abroad. But he said firmly, "Celine is the light of my life, I want no one but her." But Celine came from a troubled background. Her mother was the mistress of a newly rich figure in those circles, and Celine had become the illegitimate daughter. And the Shin family could not possibly allow such a girl into the household. So Aunt Eleanor used a tactic. She gave her 30 million and sent her abroad to study, on the condition that she break up with Vincent. Celine agreed, took the money, and flew far away. As for Vincent, from then on he resented Aunt Eleanor. He fell into a slump for half a year, until just before the college entrance exams when he suddenly buckled down and worked hard, returning to the Vincent he used to be. Only he became less affectionate with his family. When I was 23, I don't know why he suddenly relented and agreed to let me get to know him. Then, naturally, we fell in love, became engaged, and moved in together. Now that he has achieved success and fame, and is the one in control of the Shin family, his old lover has returned to the country. Of course Vincent couldn't wait to rekindle things with her. Tears fell drop by drop. I picked up the bracelet, then threw it into the trash. If you can't cut it off cleanly, you'll only invite chaos. Better to break the knot with a swift blade. The next day, Summer and I bought plane tickets and flew to Sanya for a holiday. The scenery there was healing, and the world beneath the sea was beautiful. That day, while we were lying on the beach sunbathing, my phone suddenly showed a friend request. I had a feeling it was Celine. Sure enough, after I blocked her last time, she added me again with a burner account. The next moment she sent a photo of a ring, her tone thick with bragging. "Miss Yvonne, it seems Vincent cares more about me." At the same time, Summer let out a scream and lunged at me with her phone. "Ah! Yvonne, come look. This shameless bitch." I picked up my phone and saw Celine had posted on Instagram. Her eyes were red, and she wore a big, sparkling diamond ring on her ring finger. The caption read, "I always knew you wouldn't let me suffer even a little." In the years she spent abroad, she'd become a fairly popular influencer. Her fans in the comments were swooning and speculating wildly about who the leading man might be. Summer, seeing Celine's blatant provocation, went straight to the comments and started tearing into her. "How can you, a mistress, still have the nerve to flaunt yourself? Did your mom play the other woman and now you follow in her footsteps? Is being a mistress hereditary in your family or what? Truly, bad parents breed bad children. Look at your nose, it's crooked, get it fixed quick, or it'll be too late." I grabbed her phone and opened Celine's profile. It was full of evidence of her and Vincent showing off their love. It goes back as far as Valentine's Day 6 months ago. Vincent took me to the amusement park to watch the fireworks. My heart suddenly ached as if pricked by a needle. That day Vincent and I had planned to go out for the holiday. But I caught a cold and had a high fever. I couldn't get out of bed. When he learned I was sick, Vincent said coolly, "Then cancel the restaurant reservation. Stay home and rest." I felt both disappointed and hurt, and as I was about to say something more, he had already hung up. Afterwards he never sent another message to check on me. I thought he was busy with work. I never expected he'd gone to set off fireworks with Celine. Actually, I knew, my relationship with Vincent had long been in trouble. At the beginning of this year, when Celine had just returned to the country, I sensed his mind was elsewhere. Because of that I argued with Vincent many times, but each time he simply ignored the issues, and afterward tried to placate me by buying me bags and jewels. Caught in that tug-of-war, I agonized and hesitated for a whole 6 months. I turned off my phone and drew a long breath. The storm of emotions gradually subsided. Whatever Vincent and Celine were doing no longer had anything to do with me. After being away for a week, my mother learned that Vincent and I had separated and called me. She talked to me for a long time, constantly urging me not to throw a tantrum, repeatedly saying that Vincent is powerful and important, and telling me over and over that for someone like Vincent it's normal to have several women around him. I should be magnanimous, holding steady as Mrs. Shin is what matters most. I felt profoundly wronged. But Mom, I've loved Vincent for 12 whole years. I'm in so much pain. I can't accept that there are other women around him. The line was quiet after I said that. After a long while, Vincent's voice came through. My relationship with Celine isn't what you think. Come back and I can explain. He paused, seeming to compromise. Yvonne, you're the only one by my side. I went back anyway. But not because of Vincent's words, because Aunt Eleanor wanted to see me. Aunt Eleanor had always been good to me, I couldn't bear to disappoint her. When I arrived at the Shin residence, Vincent was sitting on the sofa, drinking tea and watching financial news. In the living room, Aunt Eleanor lovingly took my hand. Yvonne, did Vincent upset you again? Tell Auntie, and she'll teach him a lesson for you. Hearing that, I glanced at Vincent. He looked composed, calmly sipping his tea. Hasn't he told Aunt Eleanor that we've already broken up? I hesitated for a moment, then said, Aunt Eleanor, Vincent and I have broken up. A piercing, sharp sound rang out as Vincent's teacup scratched across the table. He turned his head and stared at me with a blank expression. Are you serious? Breaking up with me, what about your company? Aunt Eleanor was stunned. Yvonne, what's going on? Why do you have to separate? I clenched my palm, smiling as I tried to soothe her. It's nothing, Aunt Eleanor, we just weren't right for each other. Thank you for taking care of our company all this time, Vincent. As for the future, you don't need to worry about it. Aunt Eleanor, I just got home. I'm heading in first, I'll come see you later. When I got home, my mother angrily hurled a teacup at my feet. What on earth is wrong with you? Haven't I taught you, whether there are other women around Vincent doesn't matter. You are the wife, don't be so petty, okay? I pressed my lips together and said nothing. My family started a small company. Life isn't one of great wealth, but it can sustain a comfortable middle-class existence. My mother dressed me up beautifully from a young age, sent me to play piano, to dance, to practice calligraphy, doing everything she could to groom me into a socialite. Her aim was to use my marriage into a wealthy family to achieve upward social mobility. Seeing me with my head bowed and silent, she complained resentfully, You really did it. You've shattered my dream of marrying into a wealthy family. All those years I've spent cultivating my circle of rich women were for nothing. She was furious, leaning against the sofa, her chest heaving. I went over and pressed my fingers to her temples. Mom, I don't want to live swallowing my pride anymore. She was silent for a long moment, then finally sighed, Vincent is already the cleanest man in this circle. Seeing my mother like that left a bitter taste in my mouth. Although she had an obsession with marrying into wealth, she had always been wonderful to me. I was her only daughter, she poured all her thoughts and care into me. Mom, I'll work hard so you can live the life of a rich lady. I soothed her carefully, and she laughed at me. You? You can't even bear a little grievance, how could you stand any hardship? I didn't tell her that I had actually learned a lot from being by Vincent's side. The next day I went to study at my own company. A month later, I started my own business and registered a small company. My family made traditional women's clothing, but I planned to make fashionable, trendy, affordable luxury women's wear. When I was with Vincent, I often went shopping at malls. That indirectly cultivated my sharp eye and taste. In the third month after the company was founded, a winter coat in the Livestream shop sold out in a surge. My company enjoyed a strong start. But problems came with it. The contract factory said it couldn't produce so many coats in a short time. Without the clothes, shipments would fall behind. If it dragged on, buyers would surely be unhappy and return items. By then, the fledgling brand's reputation would take a hit. I called the factory to ask, and the other side hemmed and hawed, hinting that maybe I had offended someone recently. Offend people? Who else could I possibly offend? I racked my brains, and that night lying in bed at home I came across Celine's account while scrolling. She was wearing a coat similar to the one from our livestream, and she'd hung a link below. I flew into a rage. I immediately called Vincent and told him to get Celine under control. After listening to my description, he replied nonchalantly, What Celine did has nothing to do with me, but Yvonne I can help you with. As long as you come back, Yvonne. What a sweet fantasy. I laughed spitefully and let loose a string of curses. Go back to your mother. After I finished, still seething, I dug up Celine again and gave her a piece of my mind. But Vincent's call came through again. I hung up, then he called back, over and over. What do you want? Hearing the sharpness in my voice, he hesitated. Yvonne, I'm right downstairs from your building. Come down and let's talk. I went downstairs. He was leaning against his car, smoking. When he saw me, he straightened and stubbed out the cigarette. Irritated, I said, talk about what? He sounded tired, rubbing his brow. Yvonne, Celine and I are history. There's nothing possible between us. I hope you stop imagining things, it's damaging what we have. I looked at him coolly. Feelings? What feelings could there be between us? The feeling when I had a high fever on Valentine's Day and you went to watch fireworks with Celine instead? Or the feeling of you giving my wedding ring to Celine? Now that I'm giving you to her, are you not satisfied? At that, Vincent fell silent and lit a cigarette. You know, she was the one I loved most before. I just wanted to say goodbye to the past. Am I not even allowed to commemorate what once was? The ring was my mistake. I'm sorry, I apologize to you. Come back, Yvonne. I'm not used to the days when you're not around. Vincent lowered his eyes, an unusual humility in him. During the time Yvonne had been gone, the villa had felt empty. Every time he came home, he could no longer see Yvonne's bright smile, nor hear her gentle greetings. When they were together before, he didn't pay it any mind. After Yvonne left, he felt lonely, a little afraid of the empty house. So much so that he didn't want to return to a place without Yvonne. Only where Yvonne was could be called home. I just felt exasperated. Vincent was decisive in his actions. I hadn't expected him to be so sluggish in matters of the heart. Right now he was wrapped in loneliness, as if truly sorrowful. I think he really knew he was wrong, but what good would that do? I had taken photos of the ring for him. He knew it was the wedding band I designed. The ring had always been kept in the bedroom safe. Yet he still brought Celine back to our home, even into the bedroom. And he stood there, watching Celine put on my wedding ring. In some fleeting moment he must have remembered the good times and let Celine take the ring. Or perhaps Vincent himself offered the ring, using it to close some youthful regret. But whichever it was, I couldn't accept it. It meant, in any case, that he and Celine were still entangled. So what did that make me, stuck hopelessly in between? Weren't you and she already over? Why are you still dwelling on the past when you're with me? Vincent, you're proud and arrogant, convinced Celine could never leave you, but you didn't expect her to take the money and walk away. So for all these years, you couldn't let her go, you hated her and loved her. At 27, you thought you had moved on, so you got engaged to me, but when she showed up, your gaze still followed her. You were clearly engaged to me, yet you still allowed her to get close to you. So now that the two of you have reconciled, what does that make me? My face filled with sorrow, and Vincent immediately panicked. He reached out and held me to his chest, explaining in a pale, helpless voice. No. No. I never once thought of leaving you. Whether it was yes or no longer mattered. I shoved him hard. Keep Celine under control. Don't make her nauseate me in front of me again, or I won't be able to hold back. And you, don't show up in front of me anymore. Vincent's eyes reddened, he looked utterly bewildered. Yvonne, you've changed. You used to like me so much. I stared at him without blinking. You said that was in the past. I haven't changed, I just don't like you anymore. Vincent froze, his whole body going slack, and left in a daze. The next day, the news that the Shen family's young master had made it official trended on social media. Celine posted on Instagram and even sent me some photos of them holding hands, deliberately trying to disgust me. I ignored it, but she showed up at the office again. Oh, isn't this Miss Yvonne? Long time no see. I moved to another spot and sat down with her. What do you want from me? She smiled with that spoiled air, slowly put her bag down, and then ordered 2 coffees. I heard you're starting a business lately. Vincent gave me some money, and I'm a bit bored. How about, you sell your company to me and I'll play with it for a while? I felt my blood pressure spike. The company I had built from scratch, she wanted to take it and play with it? Nothing's wrong, I'll be going back then. I had just stood up when she grabbed my sleeve, feigning innocence. Ah, don't be mad. Actually, I just wanted to ask, how did you take care of Vincent? He seems to miss you a lot. I didn't answer. She rose and, shameless, moved closer to me. Did you sleep with him? How was it? Back in high school I had him. Oh, I worked hard to teach him, you know. You're lucky. Have you said enough? I couldn't stand it any longer and, picking up my coffee, splashed it toward her. Ah, coffee splashed all over Celine. She threw me a provocative smile and shaped the words with her mouth. You're finished. Yvonne. What are you doing? The next second, Vincent strode in from the doorway. He swept Celine into his arms to protect her, watching me warily and with guarded suspicion. Yvonne, didn't we already part on good terms? Why are you looking to pick a fight with Celine again? I didn't want to deal with them and turned to leave. Unexpectedly, Vincent grabbed my arm and pulled me back. His face was full of fury. Apologize to Celine. I stared at him in disbelief, eyes wide. Why should I apologize? She was the one who started it. Yvonne, he shouted again, as if he'd reached the end of his patience. I said apologize, no one here is going to indulge you. At that moment, Celine reached out and brushed his arm twice, speaking in a weak, delicate voice. It's okay, Vincent. Yvonne was just angry and splashed me. I think she knows she was wrong. I'm fine. I glared, blood rushing to my face, and confronted Vincent. He didn't budge an inch, staring at me with a fixed gaze. Fine, an apology then. In the end, I shouted, I'm sorry, and then yanked my hand away from Vincent with force. Celine says she slept with you back in high school, and that you were bad at it so she had to train you hard. She just asked me whether you could serve me properly. Of course you can't, you're worse than the whores at a brothel. After getting my verbal fix, I hurried outside, but when I reached the door I turned back. Sorry, your mom. I will never apologize to a scumbag man or a rotten woman in this life. You two are perfect for each other, might as well lock yourselves together forever. Then I turned and ran, leaving Vincent's roar far behind me. Back at the office I replayed the files I'd compiled. They clearly documented every grudge between Celine and Vincent, with a particular focus on Celine's role as the other woman. I had originally meant to use it to threaten Celine, to make her behave. But after thinking it over, I closed the laptop. If people don't bother me, I won't bother them. If Celine causes more trouble, I'll make her pay. After finishing that matter, I went back to dealing with the Coates. In the end Vincent still didn't let Celine keep giving me a hard time. The contractor factory shipped on schedule, and to guard against accidents I stocked up on a lot of inventory at once. Afterwards I started contacting my father's factory, hoping he'd help open another workshop specifically to supply me. Having my own factory would give me more peace of mind. Soon after, Summer introduced me to 2 reliable clothing designers. They could work part-time, the base pay wasn't high, but they could earn commissions. The designers all worked hard. In a month they gave me more than a dozen different styles. From suppliers to livestream sales, I gradually built a complete system. When my mother heard I was opening a factory, she wandered around it every day with her beloved Hermes crocodile bag on her shoulder, supervising for me. I trusted her a lot, because she had helped my father a great deal when he was starting his business. Before things here were finished, trouble broke out online. Celine bought a few of my clothes and filmed a ranting video. She tore into my hit winter coat in particular, shredding it without mercy. Babes, look, the seller said it doesn't attract lint, but look, I just hugged my cat once and it's covered in fur. And the fit is all wrong, it's so big, loose, and baggy, you'd think I'm pregnant. Babes, my figure is so good and it still looks awful on me, you won't look any better wearing it. Warning, don't buy it. And these dresses, oh my god, they started coming apart before I even wore them. Such poor quality, look at these loose threads. At the end of the video she shouted, I want an explanation. Hiding behind the banner of affordable luxury to deceive us consumers, a coat for $8.99, and the quality is this bad. Give us justice, refund our money. I watched the whole video with a cold eye. The comment section was full of abuse. A wave of people flooded into the livestream, their words filthy and their targets obvious. The livestream seller's eyes were bloodshot from the insults, and she choked as she explained the product. There were also many return orders coming in backstage. I waved and told her to end the stream and rest. After thinking it over, I sat in front of the camera with my laptop. If there was going to be a scene, it might as well be a big one. Hello everyone, I am the founder of the Yenji phone brand. I disagree with the review by the blogger Celine is me. I believe this is slander. First, let me explain the relationship between us. Not long ago she and Mr. Vincent of the Shin Group announced their relationship, which drew widespread praise. But inconveniently, Vincent was my former fiancé. We had been engaged for 3 years, and just before the wedding, Miss Celine stole my fiancé and even took my engagement ring. When those words came out, the comments were filled with question marks. What a huge scoop, holy, this is explosive. Keep going, don't stop. I didn't expect there to be a twist to this. I always said Celine was a rich woman, she normally wears $10,000 outfits, so how would she suddenly be buying such cheap clothes for reviews? Public opinion flipped. I carefully recounted our dispute. The operations team was quick-witted. After I finished speaking they immediately edited the footage into a video. Shocking scandal, million-follower influencer is the other woman? The internet is never short of onlookers, and in an instant the video had been viewed tens of thousands of times. An hour later the likes hit 50,000, but shares had already reached 170,000. The operations team stared at the data as if mesmerized. What an insane amount of traffic, boss, this is huge, we're trending. Boss. Oh my god. We've gained 50,000 followers. How's the streamer? Has she recovered emotionally? Get her to go live and sell things now. Let's call it The Wife's Wardrobe, a channel dedicated to slapping down the other woman. The ops team's shouts fired everyone up. The streamer sold goods before the camera with rousing zeal, and the mood crew pulled out all the stops. Come on, sisters, take a look, this is our winter bestseller coat, the same one the homewrecker used to slander our boss with. First, sisters, take a look at the cut. Babies, isn't this coat beautiful? It's beautiful. Xiao-san, aren't you despicable? Despicable. So are we buying this coat or not? Buy. The host spun around cheerfully and kept showing it off, saying, sisters, our place is the real wife's wardrobe, okay? With this coat, you'll never get lost chasing a mistress, guaranteed to secure a happy, blissful marriage. This time, we absolutely won't let the other woman trample all over us. I watched the orders swelling backstage, but the PPT on my computer still hadn't been sent. I thought for a moment. Black is also red, this PPT is well reasoned, once released it would surely stir up a bloody storm. Why not drum up some buzz for my livestream tomorrow? We kept streaming until the inventory was cleared, thanks to Celine finding things to do. After the stream ended, I contacted the factory immediately and kept taking orders. The whole thing blew up online. Celine hired a bunch of shills to whitewash her. Unfortunately, their posts made no splash. Instead, a huge wave of nasty comments flooded her comment section. Celine's fanbase was mostly female to begin with, and women have zero tolerance for homewreckers. She lost 200,000 followers in one night. It was just after 3 in the morning, and Celine was still online. I smiled with a certain schadenfreude. Tonight, she probably wouldn't be able to sleep from anger. I slept soundly. The next morning, I posted the PPT on social media and tagged Celine and our livestream account. An hour later, the livestream went live. I was met again by an astonishing surge of traffic. That evening, I received an unexpected phone call. "Hello, Yvonne." Vincent's voice sounded weary. "I just learned about this. I'm very sorry for the trouble it has caused you. I'll take care of the Celine situation." I didn't care much and replied lightly, It really didn't cause me any trouble, on the contrary, it brought me quite a few orders. To be honest, I don't mind her carrying on. In an age where traffic is king, having traffic comes first. The explosive mistress scandal combined with the name Vincent means this wave of traffic will last me at least 10 days to half a month. "You started a company? Congratulations, I wish you success in your career." I inexplicably glanced at my phone. Vincent seemed a bit like he was trying to make small talk. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up now. I also wish you and Celine happiness." Vincent gave an inscrutable little laugh. "Yvonne, there's no way between me and her. Too lazy to care, it's none of my business." I hung up the phone and called the factory again. No sooner had I hung up than my mother called again. Her voice sounded jubilant. "Oh Yvonne, I've hooked you up with a business partner, she's the daughter of the G family, Yara. When you were little I brought you to play with her, do you remember?" The next day, I met Yara. She wore an off-white suit, her long black hair curled, makeup vivid and striking. When she saw me, she reached out her hand. "Hello, I'm Yara." "Hello." She gestured for me to sit. "Auntie speaks of you with nothing but praise, she says you're obedient, sensible, and hard-working, that whatever you do you'll succeed. She also mentioned your business in passing. Funny, I've recently seen some news online. Yan Jifeng's doing a light luxury trend in women's wear, so Miss Yvonne must be short on fabric. As it happens, I own a textile mill." I thought for a moment. "Can the quality be guaranteed?" "Of course." She raised an eyebrow. "The quality is guaranteed as the best, and I can give you a preferential price." At that, I smiled and raised my glass. "Then, here's to a pleasant cooperation." Pleasant cooperation. Now I had no worries left. From here on, as long as I could guarantee sales, I would surely make a profit. When I got back to the company, the operations manager said to me, "Hey boss, look, Celine apologized to us. She announced she's quitting the internet, and that account with 1 million followers has been deleted." I was a little surprised by the outcome. Vincent keeps his word, when he said he'd handle this, he promised the rumors would stop. But I didn't expect he could make Celine delete her account. After all, besides Vincent, Celine's only source of income was probably taking ads as an influencer. It seems he didn't care about her that much. A white moonlight in the end will become a speck of rice on a piece of clothing. I was busy for the time that followed. Before I knew it, the new year was almost upon us. Summer invited me to go eat hot pot. We ordered the extra spicy pot. I picked up a slice of fatty beef to swish in the broth, took a bite, and said with satisfaction, "Wow. This is awesome. Summer, you have no idea, I've been swamped lately, I can only shovel a few bites of food and get back to work. It's so delicious, so delicious." She pursed her lips. "Who would have known you'd be that busy?" Then, in a more gossipy tone, she added, "Hey, did you hear about what happened to Celine at the party last night?" I took a sip of cola. What happened?" Vincent attended the party with his female assistant, not Celine. When Celine found out she was furious, went to the banquet hall, slapped the assistant and even called her a vixen. I couldn't help laughing. "And then?" "Vincent is so proud, wasn't he furious?" Summer agreed, yeah, Vincent's face went dark right then. He angrily scolded her on the spot. I heard they're still fighting and might break up. Vincent supposedly kicked her out of the villa. There are lots of high society events, I used to accompany Vincent to them, but when I couldn't make it, his female assistant would stand in. In our circle, this kind of thing is perfectly normal. But Celine insisted the female assistant was seducing Vincent and made a scene in the banquet hall, leaving both Vincent and the hosts embarrassed. It was petty, to say the least. After that incident, I heard some rumors. Vincent himself didn't like scheming women. Once he learned Celine had framed me, he went abroad on business and gave her the cold shoulder for a long time. During that period, the Shin family also treated her with a frosty attitude. Celine was left to suffer in silence, unable to voice her bitterness. Anyway, the pair kept twisting around each other, their feelings growing weaker and no longer as intense as before. After dinner, Summer and I went to a bar for drinks, and to my surprise, we ran into Vincent there. He was sitting alone in a booth, drowning his sorrows with a solitary drink. When he saw me, his eyes lit up and he offered an invitation. Have a few drinks? Before I could even sit, he'd already opened a bottle and pushed it toward me. I shook my head and refused. No thanks, you have a girlfriend now. I'm afraid Celine will come over and give me a slap. He was silent for a moment, then said lightly, we've broken up. Then we don't need to drink either. I took Summer's hand and we left. Just as we sat down, my phone buzzed. Vincent had transferred $5,200,000 to me. Summer was speechless. What the hell is he up to? Doesn't he know belated affection is cheaper than grass? I ignored it. Like a lunatic, I turned my head and turned it back on him. Summer and I drank until we were satisfied, stumbled back to the hotel drunk, and collapsed into sleep. I was woken again by my mother's call. She was breathless on the phone. Oh my ancestor, you finally answered. Vincent had a car accident, hurry up and get yourself here. I'm waiting at the hospital entrance, come quickly. I was stunned. A car accident? Is karma really that quick to catch up? At the hospital entrance, I sat in the car bored. My mother kept urging me, but she herself was the slowest of all. I'd been waiting here for her for more than half an hour. After a while, she and my dad finally arrived, belatedly. The trunk was full of gifts, and I stepped forward to carry 2 boxes. I'm freezing to death, let's go. Come on, let's go. What floor was it? I think the 6th. When we got to the ward, only Celine was there. Vincent had gone for tests. Seeing me, she rushed over with tear-red eyes. Bitch. It's all your fault. You just won't go away. My mother stepped in front of me and shoved her back with one push. What kind of lunatic is this? How dare you hit my daughter? Security? Security. Hurry and get this crazy woman out of here. She relaxed her hand and, hands on hips, began to curse. Celine was pushed to the ground by my mother and spat at me. If it weren't for you, how could Vincent have abandoned me? It's all your fault for seducing him. Why did you have to come between us? I felt utterly bewildered. Wasn't it you who took the money and left him in the first place? And now you have the nerve to yell at me? Get your story straight, you were the mistress. Homewrecker? My mother caught the trigger word and whipped her head around to look at me. So this is Vincent's first love? I nodded. The next second, my mother rushed out, grabbed Celine by the hair, and raised her hand to slap her. You bitch, how dare you ruin my daughter's marriage? Damn it, it took me so long to finally get them engaged. I was about to become a rich family's wife, and you ruin it at the last moment. How dare you bully my daughter? How dare you destroy my rich woman dream? My mother spoke as she struck. Celine screamed in pain again and again. She yelled angrily, do you think Vincent is some good man? Eating from one bowl while eyeing another, if he were firm, could I have gotten in between? Blame him. What she said wasn't wrong. After Vincent and I broke up, I did look into Celine and discovered she was a professional mistress. She could clearly have used the money she took then to build herself a good future, but after going abroad she climbed into the upper circles and found a wealthy man to be his mistress. Over the years she kept changing sugar daddies overseas, and eventually got involved with someone she shouldn't have. She was caught by the wife. The wife was furious and threatened to kill her. Afraid, she hurriedly fled back home. Not long after returning, she hooked up with Vincent. Yvonne. I'm telling you, Vincent only got into that car accident to protect me. He cares about me, he can't let me go. you can't beat me at this." She hadn't finished when my mother slapped her again. "My daughter may not be able to beat you, but I sure can." I frowned at the farce, watched my mother vent until she was mostly done, then stepped forward and grabbed her. "That's enough, Mom, we're in a hospital." My mother reluctantly got to her feet, and even gave Celine a kick as she rose. When she steadied herself, she suddenly froze. I followed her gaze and saw Vincent sitting in a wheelchair, and the Shin family standing behind him. I had no idea when they had arrived, or how long they had been watching, how long they had been listening. My mother quickly recovered, smiling as she said, "Oh my, I heard Vincent got into that accident because of this woman. I'm standing up for Vincent." She backed away behind me as she spoke, wearing a face full of guilt. Beating someone up in another person's hospital room was indeed not appropriate. I had thought Vincent would make a scene over it, but he merely looked at Celine coldly. "Get out. I don't want to see you again." My mother and I exchanged a glance. The butler stepped forward immediately and began to pull Celine toward the door. She clung desperately to Vincent's wheelchair, refusing to go, crying out, "No. Vincent. You can't do this to me. You can't kick me out, I like you so much." A professional mistress, where would affection come from? If there's any liking at all, it's for Vincent's money, right? Vincent reached out and unwrapped her fingers one by one. Indifferent and resolute. The cries slowly faded. Vincent looked at me. "Everyone, please leave. I want to speak with Yvonne alone." The people in the ward wore different expressions, but in the end, they still vacated the room for us. I watched him with his head bowed, stewing in his emotions. I had a pretty good idea of what he wanted to say, so I spoke first. "Vincent, you don't mean you want to get back together with me, do you?" After a long pause, he answered gloomily, Yvonne, me being with Celine was just me sulking at you. She and I have never been right for each other. Will you forgive me?" I laughed in spite of myself. "Putting on airs? You only came to me after getting rejected, using Celine as a stopgap. But she couldn't measure up, she's all money and jealousy, embarrassing you, so you remembered how good I was. But if I were with you, you'd turn around and remember Celine's virtues. Out of sight, out of mind, Vincent. You don't love me or Celine, the only one you truly love is yourself." Those words were cold and final. Vincent looked at his broken leg, then suddenly covered his face and sobbed. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry, it's my fault, I know I'm wrong, Yvonne." Seeing him like this, the resentment coiled in my chest dissolved. I exhaled deeply. "Vincent, don't say things like that anymore, it makes your liking and love sound cheap," I said, then prepared to leave. As I passed him, he grabbed my hand. I stopped, didn't turn around, and said nothing. After a long stalemate, Vincent finally let go. A year later, my factory was completed, and I opened a new livestream studio. My career was thriving. On the day of the ribbon cutting, I used the money I'd recently earned to buy my mother a new Hermès bag, 1.3 million. My mother was overjoyed, grinning from ear to ear. The next day she went out showing it off, and when she came back she was still all smiles. "Yvonne, several ladies in our circle couldn't get this bag, you really made your mother proud. People have even been asking about your marriage prospects, and I've been turning them down. I think you shouldn't get married, just focus on making money. Ha ha ha, imagine you and your dad both earning to support me, I'd be the happiest." I laughed with her. My mother has let go of her previous prejudices and no longer insists on climbing to higher social circles. Maybe she's tired, maybe she feels at her age it's unnecessary. I said jokingly, "Mom, you don't need to reach for higher branches anymore, because I'll be your high branch from now on." My mother laughed heartily at that. Suddenly, she leaned in conspiratorially and asked, "Do you remember that Celine?" "Ah, let me tell you, she's been having the worst luck lately. Today when they were chatting they told me Celine went back to being someone's mistress, and she's pregnant again, pushing it right into the main wife's territory. Turns out the wife is ruthless, beat her until she miscarried, and I heard she won't be able to have children anymore. She curled her lip. Serves her right. After that, my mom asked again, "Are you really not planning to forgive Vincent?" "No, I'm not." Suddenly I noticed the new bracelet on my mom's wrist. She hurriedly covered it. "Oh, well, to be honest, Vincent didn't try to make me persuade you, he just gave me a gift." Under my gaze, my mother stamped her foot one last time. "All right, I'm going back. I won't accept anything in the future, you'll buy me things from now on." "Okay,